Imagine a shortcut so vital, it reshaped the world's trade routes. A shortcut so complex, its construction was a triumph of engineering and a testament to human resilience. A shortcut so strategically important, it's at the center of global power dynamics even today. I'm talking about the Panama Canal. This isn't just about ships passing through. It's about a century of innovation, international relations, and the flow of global commerce. From massive cargo ships to whispers of superpower rivalry, the Panama Canal story is far more intricate than you might think. Welcome to the KH Podcast, produced by Kao Lee. On today's episode, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the Panama Canal, exploring its past, present, and the crucial role it plays in our interconnected world. Let's begin the discussion.
All right, so you've probably heard of the Panama Canal, right? I mean, it's kind of famous.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's like that shortcut for ships, between the Atlantic and the Pacific. So they don't have to go all the way around South America. Pretty neat, huh?
Saves a lot of time, yeah.
But there's way more to it than just that, right? Like it's actually a huge deal for like the whole world.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're diving into today. Looking at why this little ditch is so important.
A little ditch, huh?
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We're using some excerpts from let me see, where is it? Pasted text.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, so we're going to use that to kind of like guide our deep dive today.
Sounds good.
Get ready for some like global power plays.
Ooh.
Some really wild stats and maybe even a little bit of drama.
I love drama.
Yeah, so to kick things off, get this, 5%.
5%.
5% of all global trade goes through the Panama Canal.
It's a lot. It's a lot when you think about it that way.
That's a huge chunk. Wow.
Yeah, and it's not just like, abstract stuff. I mean, think about it this way.
Okay.
Your phone, probably some parts of it went through the canal.
Huh. Interesting.
The clothes you're wearing, your coffee this morning, chances are at least some part of that journey went through Panama.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it's like a bottleneck.
A bottleneck?
But like a good bottleneck,
Right.
It's handling like tons of stuff from like every corner of the planet.
It's wild. Now, here's something I bet most people don't know.
What's that?
The U.S., well, they haven't actually been in control of the canal for a while now.
That's right.
So who's running the show now?
So since 1999, it's been the Panama Canal Authority.
Okay.
Which is, a Panamanian entity.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. And this shift in control it's kind of a big deal for a few reasons. First off, it was like a huge moment for Panama,
Yeah.
asserting its autonomy, control over its territory, its resources.
Yeah.
But it also raises some interesting questions,
Okay, like what?
about potential conflicts of interest.
Oh, I see.
Especially in today's world,
Yeah.
where global power is constantly in flux.
Yeah. All right, so we've got independence, potential conflicts. This is already getting juicy.
Definitely.
But before we dive into all that, let's talk about the canal itself.
Okay.
Specifically, its size.
Yeah.
Because in 2016, they did a massive expansion project, right?
Exactly. Before that, they had this size limit for ships.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they called it the Panamax standard.
Panamax, huh?
Yeah. And a lot of modern cargo ships, I mean, these things are huge, right?
Yeah.
They were just too big to fit through.
Oh, wow.
So this 2016 expansion, it changed everything.
So what'd they do?
They widened and deepened the canal. Now those giant ships can pass through, which means global shipping routes had to change too.
It's like upgrading from like a 1-lane road to like a 6-lane superhighway.
Exactly. More lanes, more traffic.
Yeah. So what does that mean for global trade?
Well, bigger ships, they can carry way more cargo, right?
Yeah.
And that can lead to lower shipping costs, which could affect prices all over the world. It's all connected.
So we've got massive ships, we've got global trade routes being reshaped, a transfer of control from a superpower to an independent nation. This is getting pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say the ship in the canal.
Okay.
Using the shortcut, it's not free, right?
You're absolutely right.
So how much does it cost to pass through this thing?
Well, on average, the toll is a cool $400,000.
$400,000 per ship.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's based on the ship's size, the weight of its cargo. It's all standardized.
So, wow, that's a lot of money just to avoid a longer trip.
It is.
But how do they determine that price? Like, is it is it really fair for everyone?
Yeah, that's a great question. It might seem like a lot at first glance, but it's meant to be fair
Okay.
to prevent, special treatment.
Right.
It doesn't matter where the ship is from, what nation it represents. Everyone pays the same.
So no freebies for anyone.
Nope, no freebies. It's all about keeping things balanced.
I like that.
Yeah.
But remember all those potential conflicts we talked about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is where things get a little complicated.
I think I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, and it all has to do with some some powerful players who are getting a little too close for comfort.
Ooh. Tell me more.
Okay, so picture this. You've got these ports, right? Right near the canal.
Okay, yeah.
And guess who's operating some of them?
Ooh.
A subsidiary of a massive Hong Kong conglomerate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And this has got a lot of people, especially in the U.S., pretty concerned.
Why is that?
Well, think about it. You've got Chinese companies right there next to this super important waterway. I mean, this is a waterway that's vital to U.S. interests. Right.
So naturally, there are worries about, influence.
I see.
Maybe even control.
Yeah.
And don't forget, the U.S., they have a long history with the Panama Canal. Complicated history,
Right.
So any shift in the power dynamics in that region, well, it's going to get their attention.
Yeah, it's like we're stepping onto a geopolitical chessboard here.
Exactly. And the game is just getting started.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation for sure.
Right.
I mean, on one hand, you've got Panama, and they've been, really clear about their commitment to those neutrality treaties, guaranteeing fair access for everyone.
Right.
But on the other hand, you can't blame the U.S. for being a little wary, right?
Right.
China's presence in the region, it raises some valid concerns.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially strategically.
It's like they're trying to walk a tightrope.
Yeah.
Keep everyone happy. But hey, speaking of navigating tricky situations,
Yeah.
let's zoom in on the canal itself for a minute.
How does this thing actually work?
Well, it's more complicated than it looks.
I bet.
Remember those Panamax limits we talked about?
Yeah, the size restrictions?
Right. Well, those existed because the canal isn't just a straight shot.
Oh.
It cuts through mountains.
Uh-huh.
So ships need a way to deal with those changes in elevation.
That makes sense.
And that's where the locks come in.
The locks. Okay, so I've heard of those, but I'll be honest, I don't really get how they work.
So imagine like giant steps
Okay.
or like watery elevators for ships.
Watery elevators. Okay.
Yeah. So there are 3 sets of locks on each side of the isthmus.
So 6 in total.
Exactly. So when a ship enters a lock,
Yeah.
the doors close behind it,
Okay.
sealing it in.
Uh-huh.
And then, depending on whether the ship needs to go up or down,
Okay.
they either pump water in or drain water out.
Oh, wow. So they literally flood the chamber.
Pretty much. It's a pretty amazing feat of engineering.
That's incredible.
And it's surprisingly delicate.
Really?
Yeah, you got to get it just right.
So it's not just about digging a big ditch.
No, not at all.
It's about controlling all that water
Precisely.
to lift these massive ships up and down.
Exactly. And they have to do this multiple times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, during a ship's trip through the canal, which is why, the average transit time,
Yeah.
it's around 10 hours.
10 hours. Wow.
It's longer than most people think.
Yeah, I would have thought it'd be quicker.
It's a testament to how complex this whole system is.
Right.
And how precise they got to be to keep things safe.
Absolutely.
And keep in mind, this is happening 2047,
Oh, yeah.
dozens of ships every day.
That makes those 9 to 11-day wait times we talked about earlier even crazier.
Yeah, it's a lot of waiting.
I can't even imagine.
It really shows you just how crucial the canal is. It's a major choke point
A choke point.
for global trade.
So anything happens, like a natural disaster or even just like political instability,
Right.
it could really mess things up.
Absolutely. It could have a huge impact on supply chains worldwide.
It's kind of scary when you think about it.
Yeah, a little bit.
This one little waterway,
Mm-hmm.
it's holding up the entire global economy.
In a way, yeah.
But it's not just about the ships and the cargo,
Yeah.
right?
No, of course not.
There are like real people involved in all of this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The people who built this thing.
The engineers,
Yeah.
the pilots who guide the ships, the crews on those ships.
Right, the folks working in those ports.
Exactly. They're all part of this massive web.
This global web.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget about the Panamanians.
Of course not.
I mean, this canal, it's a source of national pride for them.
It is. It really is.
Shows how important their country is,
To the world, yeah.
It's a symbol of their ingenuity, their resilience. I mean, the history of the Panama Canal, it's full of these stories of overcoming incredible odds.
Yeah, engineering triumphs,
Political struggles.
economic reality.
It's like this one waterway.
Yeah,
It tells the story of human ambition,
absolutely.
of innovation, of how global forces interact.
It's a microcosm of the world in a lot of ways.
It really is, but
Yeah.
but it's not a static story, right?
No, things are always changing.
New challenges popping up,
Mm.
new opportunities.
All the time.
Like climate change.
Right.
That's a big one, right?
That's huge, yeah.
I remember reading something about droughts impacting the water levels.
That's a major concern.
Yeah, because the locks need a constant supply of fresh water, right?
Exactly. And with climate change potentially making droughts worse,
Yeah.
it could seriously disrupt the canal's operation.
Wow. So it's not just about engineering and economics anymore.
Nope.
It's about the environment too.
It's all connected.
And what about those other canals we talked about?
The new ones, yeah.
The ones being proposed.
Yeah.
Could they actually replace the Panama Canal?
It's definitely a possibility,
Wow.
especially if they're bigger, deeper,
Yeah.
able to handle those mega ships.
Right.
It could draw some of the trade away from Panama.
So the Panama Canal could become obsolete?
It's not impossible,
Oh.
but it's not going to happen overnight.
Okay.
Building a new canal, it's a massive project.
Yeah.
There's the financial side of things, the logistics, the environmental impact,
Oh yeah, that's
and of course the geopolitical implications.
right. Right.
So it's a big gamble.
It sounds like it.
Mhm.
So what's Panama doing to stay ahead of the game?
Well, they're not just sitting around, that's for sure.
Good.
The Panama Canal Authority, they're working on a lot of things,
Okay.
investing in water-saving technologies,
Uh-huh.
looking for ways to make the canal more efficient,
Okay.
and even considering more expansions.
More expansions.
To handle even bigger ships.
So they're not going down without a fight?
Nope. It's like a constant race.
To stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Technologically, environmentally, geopolitically.
It's wild. This one waterway
Uh-huh.
built over 100 years ago, and it's still at the center of all these global conversations.
It's incredible.
It really is. Okay, so we've talked about the history,
Right,
the
so-
engineering, the impact on trade,
You've
all the
probably
geopolitical
heard
stuff.
of
Yeah.
the Panama
what does it all mean
Canal,
for
right? I mean,
for the
it's
average person?
kind of famous.
Right. That's the key question.
Yeah, the person listening to this
Everyone
right
knows
now.
it's
Most
like
people don't,
that-
spend their
that
day thinking about shipping lanes
shortcut
Mm.
and
for
international power
ships,
struggles.
No, they've got other things to worry about.
you know,
Exactly.
between
Yeah.
the
So how does the
Atlantic
Panama
and the
Canal actually
Pacific.
affect them?
So they
Yeah,
don't have
good
to
question.
go
Well, think about it this
all
way.
the way around
Panama
South
Canal,
America.
It's a vital part of the
Pretty
global
neat,
supply
huh?
chain.
Okay.
Saves
It's,
a lot of
it's
time,
the link
yeah.
that brings
But-
goods
but
from all over the
there's
world
way
to your
more
doorstep.
to it
That new
than
phone you
just
ordered
that,
online.
Yeah.
right?
The clothes you're
it's-
wearing,
Yeah.
maybe
it's
even the food you ate
actually
for dinner.
Okay.
huge
Chances are
deal
the Panama
for,
Canal
the
played a
whole
role in getting those things to you.
world.
So it's like this
Absolutely.
invisible
And that's what we're
force
gonna-
shaping the
that's
world
what
around
we're
us.
diving
Exactly.
into
And because
today.
everything's so connected,
Right.
Looking at
any
why
disruption to the
this
canal,
Uh-huh.
it can have
this
ripple effects.
Okay, like what?
little
Prices could go up.
ditch
Uh-huh.
is so
Certain goods
important.
might
A
become
little
harder to
ditch.
find.
Right.
It could even disrupt,
Well, you know
daily
what I
routines.
mean.
So this
Yeah.
far off
We're
waterway,
using,
it's actually
we're
much
using
closer
some
to home than we think.
excerpts
It really is.
from,
yeah.
And that's why it's so important to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
The challenges it faces,
Uh-huh.
the role it plays in
Paste
shaping our
and
world.
text.
It's not just a shortcut.
yeah.
No, it's
Good
a
stuff.
window
Yeah, so
into
we're gonna
how
use
global trade
that
works.
to
International relations,
kind of
the
like
constant
guide our
tug of
deep
war between
dive
cooperation and
today.
competition.
Sounds good.
Yeah, all
Get
playing out
ready
on this
for
global
some-
stage. And that's what makes this whole
like,
thing so fascinating, right? Absolutely.
It's a reminder
global
that even
power
something
plays.
as seemingly
Ooh.
simple as a
Some
canal
really
Yeah.
can be
wild
full of
stats
stories,
and maybe even a little
implications,
bit of
connections.
drama.
That reached far
I
beyond its
love
physical boundaries.
drama.
It's been quite a journey so far.
To kick
It has.
And we're not
things
done yet.
off,
No, not quite.
Stay tuned for the final part
get
of our
this.
deep dive.
Yeah, we've got more to
5%.
uncover.
Wow, we've
5%.
covered so much in this
5%
deep dive.
We have,
all
haven't we?
global
It's amazing how
trade
much there is to unpack.
know,
goes
right?
to the Panama
We started
Canal.
with just the idea of a shortcut.
lot.
And now we're talking
It's
about
a
like global
lot
power
when
dynamics
you
and
think
climate
about it
change.
that
It's
way.
all connected.
That's
really
a
is.
huge
But before we wrap
chunk.
things up, there's
Yeah.
one
And
question I
it's
keep coming
not-
back to.
Okay, what's
It's
that?
not
Given
just
everything
like,
we've talked about,
you know,
the challenges,
abstract
the
stuff.
competition, the global
I mean,
landscape,
think about it this way.
what What do you think the future
Your
holds for the
phone.
Panama Canal?
That's the big
Probably
question, isn't
some
it?
parts
I don't
of
have a
it
crystal
went
ball.
through
course,
the
of course.
But I think
canal.
it's safe to say that the canal is it's at a
Interesting.
crossroads.
Okay,
The
so like a
clothes
make or
you're
break moment.
wearing,
Yeah,
your
kind of.
coffee this
The decisions
morning.
made in the next few years
Chances are
by
at
the
least
Panama Canal
something,
Authority, by
some
global
part
players.
of that journey
Those decisions are going to determine its
went
fate.
through Panama.
So it could go either way.
It could thrive.
Whoa, really?
Or it could slowly
Yeah, it's
become
like a bottleneck.
less relevant.
Yeah, so what are the biggest
But
factors
like a
that'll
good
shape that outcome?
bottleneck.
Well, climate
you
change is
know?
a huge one.
Right, we talked about that.
Yeah,
It's
the canal needs a
handling,
reliable source of
like,
water.
Right.
And if droughts
tons of
become more
stuff
severe,
from, like,
that could be a real problem.
every
they might have to
corner
limit
of the
traffic.
planet.
Potentially,
It's
yeah.
wild.
They might have to make some tough
now,
decisions.
Here's something I bet
It's not
most
just about
people
economics
don't
anymore
know.
or
Right.
even engineering.
What's
It's about
that?
the environment.
Exactly.
And what about those
well,
other
they
canals?
haven't
The ones being
actually been in
proposed.
Yeah, could they
control of
really
the
steal the
canal
show?
for a while
It's possible.
now.
I mean,
That's right.
if a new
That's
canal is
right.
built,
So
Uh-huh.
who's
especially if it's
running
bigger,
the show
deeper,
now?
Yeah.
it could attract
So
those
since
mega ships,
1999,
and that could shift trade away from
it's
Panama.
So
been
Panama has to,
the
like, up their
Panama
game.
Canal
Yeah, they can't just sit back and
Authority.
relax.
No, they've got to be
Which
proactive.
is,
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
And they are,
Panamanian
to their credit,
entity.
Oh,
Right.
the Panama Canal
Makes
Authority,
sense.
they're investing
Yeah.
in water-saving technology.
And
They're trying to make the canal more
this
efficient.
shift
Okay.
in
They're even looking at more
control
expansion.
More extensions.
is-
Yeah, to handle those
it's
even
kind of
bigger
a big
ships.
deal
So it's a
for
constant
few
race.
reasons.
It is.
To stay ahead of the curve.
To adapt, to
First
innovate.
off,
It's pretty
it was
incredible.
like a,
It is.
a
I mean, think
huge
about it.
moment
Yeah.
for
This canal,
Panama,
built over
you
100
know,
years ago,
Yeah.
It's still
asserting
so
its
relevant.
I know, it's
autonomy,
amazing.
It's a testament
control
to
over
human
its
ingenuity.
territory, its
Absolutely. But it also
resources,
shows how interconnected
it
our
also
world is.
raises
Right,
some,
and how complex the challenges are.
some
Well, this has
interesting
been a
questions,
truly eye-opening deep dive.
Okay,
It has,
like
hasn't
what?
it?
We've learned so
About
much.
We have.
potential
And I think we have a
conflicts
much
of
deeper
interest,
appreciation for the
Oh,
Panama
I
Canal
see.
now.
I hope
especially
so.
in today's
It's not just a
world,
shortcut
you
anymore.
know,
No.
Yeah.
It's a symbol
where
of
global
human endeavor
power is
and a
constantly
microcosm
in
of
flux.
our interconnected
Yeah.
It's a story that's still being
Yeah.
written.
Exactly.
All right.
And to
so
our
we've
listeners,
got
thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it as fascinating as we
potential
did.
conflicts.
The Panama
This
Canal is a
already
testament to
getting
human potential
juicy.
and a reminder of the
Definitely.
complex challenges we face in a
But
globalized world.
before
Keep exploring,
we
keep
dive
learning,
into
and we'll
all
catch you on the
that,
next deep dive.